Okay, so this is the third chapter. Please mute yourself. Okay, so this is the third chapter, that is circulatory system. Earlier we discussed about excretory system and respiratory system, right? This is the third one. So in excretory system, the most important organ was kidney. Then respiratory system, it was lungs. Now in circulatory system, it is the heart, human heart. Okay. And the circulatory system is also known as blood vascular system. Why blood vascular system? Because uh, blood is a thing that circulates all around your body, right? Circulatory system. In the name only, it is there. Circulation. So, what circulates? Blood circulates. That's why it is also known as blood vascular system. Human circulatory system. It is also known as blood vascular system. So, it can this what to say? This circulatory system. It consists of three things. First is heart. Okay, first is heart, and second is heart that I have already mentioned. Second is blood vessels. So, what are blood vessels? What are blood vessels? Can you name some blood vessels? Can you name some blood vessels?
Ma'am, which transport blood from heart?
Heart also and everywhere. Yes, transport blood. Okay, but how many types of blood vessels are there? Do you know how many types of blood vessels are there? And can you name like a few, one or two?
Types,
Hmm?
four types,
Three types blood
What are
vessels,
those?
and five types.
arteries, veins, capillaries.
Okay, what five types? What are those? Five types? What are those? Huh? What are the five types of blood vessels?
Yes, ma'am.
What are
Five
those?
types. Madam.
Nazana. Anyways, there are three types of blood vessels. Okay, three major types of blood vessels. That is, your friend said, arteries, veins, and capillaries. Okay, there are arterioles and all those. Those are counted sometimes, but major types are three. That is, arteries, veins, and capillaries. Okay, so those will come under blood vessels. And then there is blood. Okay, so in human circulatory system, there are three things that consist of human circulatory system. That is heart, blood vessels, and blood. Okay, first we will discuss about a little bit about the heart. So this is the structure of a human heart. Okay, this is the structure of a human heart, and this is the uh, this outer membrane or the outer covering. It is known as the pericardium. Okay, here it is written. You can see here. This means pericardium. Okay, before that, uh, uh, in during when I explained mechanism of breathing, I explained that what to say, thoracic cavity. Okay, so what is thoracic cavity? I explained what during explaining like what is
Ma'am,
mechanism of breathing. Hmm? Okay, so Ditya, so when we discussed about mechanism of breathing, we discussed thoracic cavity. Thoracic cavity means the space that is present between the ribs. Okay, the space that is present between the ribs. And we discussed that there are lungs present inside the ribs. Right, inside the thoracic cavity, there are the lungs. So, this heart is present in between the lungs. So, you just can imagine this is the heart. Here are the lungs on both sides. One lung will be this side, one lung will be that side, two lungs, and then there will be rib cage, which will surround the heart and the lungs. Okay, so in between the thoracic cavity, inside the thoracic, not in between, inside the thoracic cavity, in the thoracic cavity, there will be the heart. Okay, and the heart, the lungs will be present outside the heart. Means the heart, it will be present in between the lungs and in the thoracic cavity. Okay, that is the position of the heart, and it is not situated completely in the middle. It is situated a little bit towards the, it is tilted a little bit towards the left. Okay, left side. Then what is the size of a human heart? So when you make a fist, like when you are about to punch something, that is known as a fist. So when you make a fist, the size of that fist is the size of your heart. Okay, it is uh, more or less, the size of your fist is more or less the size of your heart. Okay, and the size of that heart differs as the size of your fist. Okay, and the muscles.
Actually, ma'am,
Yes.
clenched fist মানে কি?
ক্লেন্সড ফিষ্ট মানে যোনটো ঘুচা মাৰিবলৈ যোনটো বনাই মানে এনেকে টান কৰি থোৱা, সেইটোক কয় ক্লেন্সড ফিষ্ট।
Ma'am, হাতৰ মুঠিটো নেকি?
মুঠিটো, হয়। লাইক তুমি ক্লোজ কৰি থলে, লাইক পাঞ্চ কৰিব ললে যেনেকুৱা কৰা তেনেকুৱা হাতৰ মুঠিটো। য়েছ, so that size will be the size of your heart. Okay, and the muscles that make up your heart is known as the cardiac muscles. I have written it all point wise so that it will be easy for you to remember. Okay, so the muscles that form the heart, human heart, it is known as the cardiac muscles. Okay, and I started with this, that the membrane that is the covering of the human heart, it is known as the pericardium. The covering of the human heart, it is this covering, it is known as pericardium, and it is two layered. Okay, it is double layered, two layered, and it is known as pericardium. Okay, and what is the function of the pericardium? The function of the pericardium is to protect the heart from any external damage. Okay, there are fluids present inside the pericardium and all this, so it protects the heart from any external damage, so that you don't get damage in your heart very easily from external factors. Okay, from any external damage you won't get it. That's why it protects our heart. That is the pericardium, that is the layer of the heart, that is the covering. For example, the cell has a cell membrane, right? The cell membrane. For plants, they have a cell wall. So same way for the heart also there is this membrane known as pericardium. It is a double walled and means double layered. Okay. Wait a sec. Okay, so that is the pericardium. Okay, and next comes the chambers of the heart. So for human heart, there are 4 chambers. For different organisms, it is different. Okay, for some organisms there are 2 chambered heart. For some organisms there are 3 chambered heart. So for human beings, there are 4 chambered heart. Okay, that is the left atrium, left ventricle, right atrium, and right ventricle. So 2 atriums, that is left and right, and 2 ventricle, that is left and right. So atrium is a singular term. Okay, and if we need to mention both the atriums, it is known as atria. So atria is the plural. Here it is written atria. Atria is the plural term and atrium is the singular term. Okay, it is also known as auricle. Atrium is also known as auricle. That is auricles, auricles or auricle. So this is the left auricle, this is the right auricle, this is the left ventricle, this is the right ventricle. Okay, there are 4 chambers of the human heart. 4 chamber heart. Then you can see here there is a valve. So what is the function of a valve? Even there are valves in your water supply tanks, right? There is valve, you have to open it in order to make the water flow, and then you can close it to stop the flow of water. Or you can take the example of a door. So this valve will act as a door in between the left and the left ventricle, left atrium and left ventricle. The valve is known as mitral valve. So the mitral valve is situated in between the left atrium and the left ventricle. Okay, the mitral valve. And this, what is the function of this valve? This valve will guard the opening in between these two chambers. Okay. For example, if this valve will be open, then the blood can flow from left atrium to the left ventricle and vice versa. Okay. But when this valve will be closed, then there will be no movement of fluid in between these two chambers. Okay, so this is the left atrium and the left ventricle, and in between the left atrium and the left ventricle is the mitral valve. Just remember the names. Okay, in between the left atrium and the left ventricle is the mitral valve. And same way for the right atrium and right ventricle, there is the tricuspid valve. Okay, serves as the same purpose as like a door. It serves like the same purpose of a door. That is, it can stop the movement, also it can allow the movement. Okay, it depends upon the position and the like how it is placed. Okay, so this is the right atrium and the right ventricle, and the tricuspid valve, it is situated in between the right atrium and the right ventricle. Just don't confuse it. That is the left atrium and the right ventricle, in between it is the mitral valve, and in between the right atrium and right ventricle is the tricuspid valve. There are two valves, these two valves situated in between these two like chambers. Okay, so there are 4 chambers. These are the 4 chambers, and in between them are these valves. Okay, and this is the wall of the heart known as pericardium. Okay, the wall of the heart, it is known as pericardium. Now let's move to artery and veins. So what is the difference? Can you tell me the difference between an artery and a vein? Difference between an artery and a vein.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, tell me.
Ma'am, artery কি কয় হাৰ্টৰ পৰা হেইটো আহে ব্লাডটো আহি থাকে আৰু ভেইনত মানে ব্লাডটো হাৰ্টলৈ গৈ থাকে
That is not the অকল artery vein অকল তোমাৰ কি কয় সেইটোৱে মেইন ডিফাৰেন্স নেকি? This is the main difference. No, that is not the main difference. আৰু হাৰ্টলৈ যোৱা হাৰ্টত যোৱা আৰ্টাৰী ভেইন কেইটাকতো পালমনাৰী আৰ্টাৰী আৰু পালমনাৰী ভেইন বুলি কয়।
মেম আৰ্টাৰীত অক্সিজেনেটেড ব্লাড হেই হয় ট্ৰান্সপোর্ট কৰে আৰু ভেইনত ডিঅক্সিজেনেটেড ব্লাড।
Yes, that is the main difference. Okay, for arteries carry oxygenated blood. Oxygenated blood means pure blood. Okay, arteries, they carry oxygenated blood. This is most important. Okay, it will be asked in your, like, it will be required in your entire life. And since you're studying radiology, these things are very much important. You'll work in a lab and somewhere, if you don't know the difference between artery and vein, that will be a huge thing. Okay, so arteries, they carry oxygenated blood. Oxygenated blood means pure blood. And the veins, they carry deoxygenated blood. Deoxygenated means impure blood. Okay, that is the normal scenario in your body, the arteries and veins. But in the case of pulmonary artery and pulmonary vein, that is directly attached to the heart, it is different. Okay, in case of pulmonary artery and pulmonary vein, which is attached directly to the heart, it is different. How it is different? This is the opposite. So let's first take pulmonary artery. Normal artery that is present all around your body, normal artery carries oxygenated blood or pure blood, right? Arteries carry pure blood, but this pulmonary artery, they will carry impure blood. Please write it down somewhere if you think you'll forget. Okay, normal arteries, they carry pure blood, but pulmonary arteries, they will carry impure blood. Okay, same in the case of veins. Normal veins, they carry impure blood, whereas pulmonary veins will carry pure blood. Am I clear? So this is the difference. Okay, pulmonary artery and normal artery, it is different. Pulmonary artery, that is attached directly to this heart, that is different than the normal artery. Normal artery will carry pure blood, but pulmonary artery, they will carry impure blood. It is the opposite. Same way for veins also. Normal veins, they will carry impure blood, whereas this pulmonary vein, they will carry pure blood. Okay, so this is settled then. That is pulmonary artery and pulmonary vein. Then there is aorta. This aorta is also a kind of artery only. This aorta is also an artery. Okay, this aorta is also an artery. This aorta is also also a pulmonary artery. Okay. Then there is superior vena cava. All these are arteries only. Okay, so this is the structure of a heart. You need to remember the thing is that the heart, it is situated in the thoracic cavity, and then uh, it is made up of cardiac muscles. It is the size of a clenched fist, and there are four chambers. Human heart is four chambers. The covering of the heart, it is known as pericardium. Then the left atrium and the right ventricle, is in between them is the mitral valve, and in between right atrium and right ventricle is the tricuspid valve. Then there is pulmonary artery, which carries impure blood, and there is pulmonary vein, which carries pure blood. So these are the points that you need to remember about the human heart. Okay, there is one more. This one for your knowledge. That is, for normal human being in normal conditions, under normal conditions, the heart beats for 70 to 75 times in a minute. In 60 seconds, that is a minute, the heart beats around 70 to 75 times, which means it does not take even a second to beat once. 60 seconds, they beat like 70 to 75 times, less than a second to beat one time. Okay, so next we will move to any doubts about the heart, you can ask. If not, I will move to the next, that is the blood. Okay, I'll assume we don't have any doubts. So now comes to tissues. So what is a tissue? Can you tell me what is a tissue? In simple terms. In simple terms, what is a tissue?
of cells.
Group of cells, yes. So you have heard of levels of organization. You have read levels of organization. That is, a group of cells, they will form tissues. Okay, then a group of tissues will form an organ. A group of organs will form an organ system, and many organ systems will together form an organism or an individual, right? So tissue is nothing but a group of cells or a number of cells together, a cluster of cells together, they will form a tissue. Okay, tissues are of four types. That is, first one is epithelial tissues, muscular tissues, nervous tissue, and connective tissue. Okay, first is epithelial tissue. This is for your knowledge only. Okay, this is not included in this chapter. So epithelial tissue is found in the linings of your body. For example, all those skins and everything also, and all the lining inside your mouth, inside all those tracts, Okay, all those tubes, all the linings, it is formed by epithelial tissues. Next is muscular tissue. Muscular tissue, all of you know the muscles. The muscles of your body is made up of muscular tissues. Then there is nervous tissue. The nerve cells or neurons, they made up the nervous tissue. Okay, the nerve cell or the neurons. You have got that in school. Then there is connective tissue. Okay, so the connective tissue, it connects one part of the body to the other. So example of connective tissues are blood. Blood is a type of connective tissue. Then there is bones. Blood is a type of connective tissue, bone is a type of connective tissue. Then again there is cartilage. So blood, since it is liquid, it is also known as liquid connective tissue. Okay, blood, since it is liquid, it is also known as liquid connective tissue. Okay, bones are there and cartilage. What is bones? All of you know bones. What is cartilage? Cartilage is also a type of connective tissue. What is a cartilage?
Realize
Hmm? So cartilage is something that is in between the bone and blood. It is not liquid, but yet it is not as hard as the bone. Okay, let me give you an example. Like for chickens, if you are a non-veg and if you have eaten chicken, right? So in the case of chickens, you will find a part that is little bit white, not little bit, it is completely white in color, and it is not flesh. It is not flesh, but it is white in color. Okay, mostly in the part of that sternum area. So that portion is known as a cartilage. For human beings, like in the ear, there is flesh, little bit flesh, then there is skin, right? But it is stiff means it is hard, little bit hard. Why it is hard? There is no bone in the ear. Do you think there is bones in the ear? Most of the ear is made up of cartilage. Cartilage, it is flexible. Okay, it is not as stiff as a bone, but it is not in the liquid form also. That is the white portion that is found in the case of birds, those chickens and all. That is a cartilage. Okay, so the cartilage is also a connective tissue. It is strong, but yet it is flexible. You give your roll numbers in the chat box, all of you. I don't have to say every time you uh, attend my class. You need to give your roll numbers in the chat box. Okay, so that is connective tissue. Okay, the blood is a liquid connective tissue. Okay, so human blood, it comprises of these things. First is plasma, fluid matrix or plasma. It is almost the same thing. Okay, fluid matrix or plasma, it is the same thing. The plasma and the formed elements. What are the formed elements? The blood cells. Okay, the blood cells will together form the formed elements. It is the blood cells. Okay, the three types of blood cells are there that we will discuss later. First, we will look at plasma. So, plasma, it is generally pale yellow color or brownish yellow color. That is the color of straw in paddy field straw you have seen. So it is the color of the straw, pale yellowish brownish, that color. So and it is made up of mostly water. Okay, mostly it is made up of, maximum it is made up of water, and then some proteins are there. Okay, here is it is given 90 to 90% of this plasma is made up of water, and there are some proteins. So there are three types of major proteins. They are fibrinogen, globulins, and albumin. These are important. Okay, so three types of proteins are found in the plasma, that is fibrinogen, globulin, and albumin. So let's look at fibrinogen. Fibrinogen is essential for blood clotting. What is blood clotting? What is blood clotting?
মেম গোট মাৰি যোৱাটো নি?
Mm, mm. So let's say you get a cut in your hand or somewhere. Okay, if major blood vessels are not damaged, then you will if then you'll survive, right? You don't need to go to the doctors or stuff like that. If major blood vessels are damaged, like arteries and veins, all those are damaged, then it is hard to stop the blood, and you'll have to be admitted in the hospitals. But if not, if major blood vessels are not damaged, generally you are cutting veggies and you got a cut, you don't have to go to the rush to the hospital, right? It will get healed by its own self, or you can just apply some medicines. That is your own call. Okay, but you will not die of that. But what happens generally when there is a cut, there is blood flow. When you get a cut, blood flows, right? Blood flows from that wound. But after a certain point, like 2-3 minutes, the blood flow, it will gradually stop. Okay, it will become less, and then it will stop. So that is because of this blood clotting. So what happens is that when the blood flows and when it is exposed to the air, it becomes thick. The blood, it becomes thick. So when the blood, it becomes thick, it forms meshes around the wound, and then it sort of seals the wound. Okay, it forms meshes, and then the blood, it becomes thick and then solid, and then it will seal the wound, and then your blood will be stopped. That process is known as blood clotting. If there is no blood clotting, that your means, however small your wound may be, however small your cut may be, but it will flow non-stop. And do you think, like, tying it up with a cloth and bandage, it will stop your blood flow? No, it will not stop. It will stop for some extent, but it will not stop entirely. The blood will flow continuously, and as a result, your body will lose the blood. Your body will be like contain less blood, and then no blood, and then you'll die from a single cut. So blood clotting is very essential. Even for operations and all, before operations, this blood clotting is checked. In the ear somewhere they will like cut, or they will prick, and they will see how much time it takes for the blood to clot. Otherwise, if they cut, like in the stomach or somewhere, if they cut and if there is no blood clotting, the person will die. So blood clotting is a very essential phenomena in your body. Okay, and that blood clotting is also known as coagulation. Clotting is also known as coagulation. So this blood clotting is, or blood coagulation, it is it happens because of the fibrinogen that is present in the blood or the plasma. Okay, plasma present in blood, so fibrinogen that is present in the plasma. So this blood clotting, if you don't have fibrinogen, if you lack fibrinogen, there will be no blood clotting, and you will have to like, you cannot survive, because you will get little bit like, day to day also you get hurt, right? Playing stuff, like for cutting things and things like that, you'll get hurt. Anyway, you'll get hurt, and then if there is no blood clotting mechanism in your body, then you will die. So this fibrinogen is, that is a major protein in the blood plasma, is essential for blood clotting. Okay, next is globulins. Second type of protein found in the plasma is globulin. So globulin here it is seen are involved in defense mechanism. So what is defense mechanism in your body? What is defense mechanism? Have you heard of people for now in corona situation, COVID situation everywhere? Have you heard like they are for the government they are asking for COVID survivors, those who have had COVID and then they survived, for those COVID survivors to donate plasma. শুনিছা? Plasma donate কৰিব কৈছে
Yes, ma'am.
COVID survivors. Why is it so? কিয় কৰিব কৈছে?
মেম প্লাজমাত প্ৰটিন থাকে যিটো প্ৰটিনৰ পৰা মানে মানুহৰ ইমিউনিটি চিষ্টেমটো বহুত ষ্ট্ৰং কৰে আৰু
Yes, that
কৰোনা
protein
ভাইৰাছৰ
is
এগেইনষ্ট
globulin. That protein,
Yes,
just protein কথা তুমি কৈ আছা, সেইটো protein হ'ল globulin. Okay, I will explain it to you what happens. So this, what happens is that, let's take an example of pox. Pox, বসন্ত, চবৰে ওলাইছে সৰুতে. So pox, what happens? Most of you have got pox in your childhood. Okay, but the pox, they appear in one person only, in a particular person once only in the entire lifetime. Okay, pox, it appears once in the entire lifetime, that is in her childhood. Okay, so why is it so? Because what happens when you are infected with that virus which causes smallpox or chickenpox? So when you are infected by that virus, your body, they produces antibodies. Okay, your body, your blood, in the blood, they produces antibodies. Okay, that is these globulins, they will produce antibodies. Okay, and that antibodies, they will fight against the virus, they will kill the virus, and then you will be cured. Okay, so after you get cured of that pox, that antibodies will not get destroyed, they will stay in your body. They will stay in your body, and they will stay in your body for lifetime. Okay, and they are known as memory cells. They are known as memory cells. So what does these memory cells will do? Memory cells are nothing but antibodies. Okay, that are formed during you got a certain disease, that is, suppose you got chicken pox, then you, like, you suffered from chicken pox for like few days, months, whatever, then you are cured, you are all good. Okay, now your body is immune to chicken pox, which means your body has the antibodies, your body has formed the antibodies which will fight against those chicken pox. So whenever you are exposed to that chicken pox virus in your later stages of your life, for example, let's take me, I had chicken pox in my childhood. Okay, I had chicken pox in my childhood, so my body has antibodies to fight against that chicken pox virus. So now if I get chicken pox, if I am exposed to the chicken pox virus, I will not get the disease, because as soon as the virus will enter my body, my antibodies will attack the virus and it will kill it. So I will not get chicken pox in my life again. But if you have not had chicken pox, I will suggest you stay away from people who have not had chicken pox, who are having chicken pox. Okay, stay away from people who are suffering from chicken pox, because chicken pox is easy to be cured during childhood, and it is fatal for older people to have chicken pox, or pox in general. Pox for older people, it is a little bit fatal. So it is better that you suffer from it during your childhood, then you'll be immune through your entire life. Okay, you will not get chickenpox. Same for coronavirus also, not exactly the same, but this what to say, this chickenpox, the antibodies formed against the chickenpox virus, they remain in your body for your entire life. But some antibodies does not stay in your body for entire life, they stay for certain period, like for 1 month, for few years, like that. It differs. But for chickenpox antibodies, they stay in your body for entire life. I don't know about the coronavirus, but the people who are suffering from coronavirus and they are survivors, they survive coronavirus, those people, they will form antibodies in their body. Okay, they will have antibodies in their body, and that antibodies will be found in the plasma. They will be found in the plasma, and if that plasma from that COVID survivor will be like given to another patient, so that patient will get the antibodies, right? And that antibodies can fight against the COVID virus. Am I making sense? So that is why, because that antibodies, that immune system, immune. What is all of you say like you have to you have to be immune. That is why plasma is like transferred, so that that uh, uh, that what to say, COVID patient, they became immune to that COVID virus, and that then from that person, if the plasma it's transferred to another person, that person will also become immune. Immune means they will contain the antibodies, the memory cells, the antibodies. Okay, that is why the survivors of COVID patient are asked to transfer the or donate the plasma. Okay, so that defense mechanism or that factor that is present in the globulins. Okay, that is a protein in the plasma. Then there is albumin. So albumin is, it helps in osmotic balance. Osmotic balance means water balance in your body. Anything to do with osmosis or osmotic, anything to do with that, it has something to do with water. Okay, so osmotic balance is a water balance. Water balance means your body is like 70 to 80% of your body is water. So, but if that water, that percentage of water arise, like it becomes more, your body will bulge out. Okay, you will die. Then again, if it will become less, the amount of water will become less, you will again die of dehydration. So that particular uh, percentage need to be maintained, right? You need to uh, maintain that particular percentage of water in your body. That is known as osmotic balance. So that is done by this albumins. Okay, so these are the three proteins: fibrinogen, globulins, and albumins. Fibrinogen are essential for blood clotting, globulins for self-defense mechanism, and albumins for osmotic balance. Okay, and this is just for your knowledge. Without fibrinogen, the plasma without this fibrinogen is known as serum. Okay, the plasma without fibrinogen is known as serum. Okay, so this is all about plasma, and then there are formed elements, that is the blood cells. We'll discuss the next class. I don't think we have much time. If you have any doubts, you can ask now or the next class. I hope all of you have given your attendance. Okay, if you have any doubts, you just can ask. If you don't have any doubts, you can leave. We'll discuss the next part, the next class. And yes, okay. So, thank you.